Game. The boys talk about music they've been listening to recently.
Okay, so anyway, he reference for those who know. Anyway, welcome. This is the Whiteboard Game. You are listening to the Whiteboard Game, Series 2, Episode 3?
Yeah.
Episode 3, yes, good. We are here, as we always are. I am Frederick, you are...
Chris.
Yes, as always, your two best friends, a home away from home, if you will. A comfort in these trying spring months. Unless you're listening to us in another part of the world, in which case it won't be spring. But anyway, so we are back. You know how this works. I'm going to take the opportunity to just do it very quickly in case you don't. We give each other 10 extracts, 10 bits of music. There's always some kind of thing that helps us choose the extracts, at least. We'll get onto that in a bit. You have to say who wrote it, what it's called, when it was released, I suppose. The genre of it. Sometimes there's a fifth category. There isn't today. Again, we'll get onto that. But before we do, how you doing, Chris?
Yeah, I'm fine. Yeah. No, nothing out of the unordinary. The usual working. We're working on new tunes after putting the album out. It never stops. It's still very fresh. It was only what, a couple of weeks ago? Yeah.
That we released our full-length debut LP, which is very exciting. If you have listened to it, what do you like about it? What do you dislike about it? All criticism is invited, I suppose. If you haven't listened to it, why? Yeah, sorry, do go on.
It's a long album. You don't have to listen to all of it, but you know, there are some tracks that are, I don't know, maybe you'll gravitate towards.
Some are good.
It's worth sticking it out for the hour and 15 that it is. But yeah, no, we put that out, and the last game was in reference to that. We talked about our inspirations, and went a little bit in depth as to how we made the album, different things about it, stuff that you might find interesting about it. So we do hope that you have listened to that and acknowledged our inspirations, and are not planning on bringing them to high court where the court can tell us that we've ripped everyone off.
Yes.
That would be nice.
That would be good. Although, do be aware that, I've mentioned this probably a couple of times in the podcast now, I am training to be a lawyer. So if you do want to take us to high court, I will be able to represent Idiot Twin itself. And I have a lot of confidence in myself, and you will lose. So, but yeah. Is there anything Idiot? We've got, at the time of recording, we have a gig to celebrate the album coming up. That should be fun. At our own home from home, I suppose, the Spice of Life. I don't actually know how many times we've performed there now in Soho, but it's a lot.
Over 10.
Over 10, did you say?
Yeah.
Oh, definitely over 10, yeah. It's a lovely space, and it should be a lovely show. We are going to do as many of the album tracks as possible, some that we've never done live before, so they'll probably be awful. But no, that should be a lot of fun. That should be good. Is there anything else you do, Twin, to be? Well, other than saying, we're working on new stuff already.
Well, the gig will happen before this is out. But if you're an avid Idiot Twin fan, you'll be following our stuff, and you'll know that. Well, you will have come to the gig, and you'll be listening to this
on the 26th of this month.
It's not coming out whatsoever. This is out already.
Yes.
But from the time of the recording, it will be soon. We're looking forward to it, and we hope that we saw you there, and that you said hello and enjoyed our stuff. That'd be nice.
I think the only one that I could advertise, the only show I could advertise that I know of that'd be relevant for the time that this goes out, is I think we're now performing on the 25th of May.
Yes.
Again at the Spice of Life. But there's always plates spinning, so there'll probably be more on the horizon.
Yes.
Do I have anything to add about Idiot Twin stuff? No, probably not. The way this game works, I think it it was inevitable that Chris and I were going to get exhausted of having sort of 5th round categories to do. Not exhausted in terms of bored, but like as in we've exhausted our options, literally. There are only so many spins in the whiteboard game you can do before you go, can we just talk about music we like? In which case, that's what we're doing here. The theme to help us pick extracts for today was just whatever we happen to be listening to at the moment, basically. You can imagine this as like the themeless sort of game. It's just ones that we want to talk about.
Yeah.
You know, we're bringing it back to the old days.
Yes.
The sparks of the whiteboard game back when we were at uni. Where we're just picking stuff that we like and want to talk about, really. So, imagine that you're listening to us, but we're both about 3 years younger, or even 4 years younger, and we are a mixture of naive hope and the early stages of crushing realism as we start our university journeys. But there's always been music. There has always been music. I think without further ado...
Yeah, I think that's all the explaining we've got to do. This would have been a favourite albums game, but we figured we did quite a few last season.
Yes.
And I think the whole point of that game was just to talk about music we like, and because I guess not every song you like is going to be on an album, naturally. You know, there's always going to be stuff you want to talk about that you don't get to. So hopefully this game gives us the chance to do that.
We will still do those album games, but at a lower frequency.
Yeah, we might have maybe 2 this season.
Like
I think last season we had 4 or 5. So it will give you a nice break from those. Thank us in the comments.
So it's at this point that one of us figures out who went first last time.
I guessed first last time, so you guess first this time.
What if I don't want to?
Well, you would be breaking tradition.
And who am I to be brave? So, your first extract, Chris, you gave me.
Yeah.
I thought I recognised the voice. Maybe I didn't. And case in point, I know I didn't, because I've put something that I know isn't the right voice. So, the lead singer of Squid is Mr. Winter, yes?
Oh, you have mixed up your bands there, mate.
I know I have.
Thinking of Geese.
Oh, Geese. Blimey. British bands with animals and stuff, you know.
American band.
They sound...
You are batting 0 right now, mate.
Very early to start getting rude with me, Chris.
Geese are American.
Very early.
Geese are American.
I didn't know you wanted a bit of an offensive.
Geese are American.
I didn't know you wanted a game on the aggressive here today.
Doesn't
but
even
we
sound
can
like
do
Cameron
one.
Winter,
No half
mate.
points for you. That's decided early. Fine. So, either way, I guess in my mind this could be Squid or Geese, to be honest. I know very little about both bands. But I've said Squid, meant Geese. You know what? Don't care. But I said it was called This Morning. 2023, Slacker Rock / Alt Country. I think Alt Country to me seems to be the better fit for this one. Yeah.
Yeah, 2 points. You're right about the genre. You're a bit confused about
evidently
the musicians, but no, you've done well. This is, you may have heard of this singer-songwriter. He is an up-and-coming artist.
Frederick Bloy.
Well, in that case, it would be very embarrassing you didn't get this.
Yeah.
This is MJ Lenderman.
I do know the name, but I'm not disappointed in myself because I've never listened to
it's one of those ones you've probably seen, but you haven't really listened into.
Yeah.
This is a song of his called Joker Lips. I don't really know what this song is about, to be honest. So
as in, like, the actual Joker? He's got the big smile thing going on?
I think there's some sort of deeper meaning going on.
You would assume so.
Yeah.
That's true of most songs, I think.
Alt country slacker rock, you got that very right. 2024, so last year, which is weird to say. Well, I think I'd seen some people discuss the musical aspects of MJ Lenderman sort of taking from Wilco and Pavement. And
Wilco, I did think as I listened,
yeah, it's got a Wilco-y sort of vibe, yeah. And so I thought, those are 2 bands I like. I will endeavour to explore Mr. Lenderman's catalogue.
Yeah.
And so I did. I started with his most recent. Well, I guess I say I started with his most recent album, have not delved any deeper than that yet. His most recent album is called Manning Fireworks.
Yes.
And it has received, I wouldn't say mixed reviews. I think generally it's positive. But I think if you search in certain places, you will find that there is more of a lukewarm sort of reception to it.
I thought he was very popular at the moment.
I mean, as I say, a lot of, if you search in the wrong places, people will say that it's a bit lukewarm. But I think generally the acclaim for this album is fair and high. It's not one I was massive on. I felt like it was sort of, I don't know, if it feels like he's still yet to hone his sort of sound and craft.
Yeah, okay. Makes
sense. He's not a musician. He's been going for, well, I guess in the public eye for massively long. But yeah, it's nice and chill. If you like that alt country sound, it's right in there. There's going to be a lot of songs off this album that do it for you. Yeah, I'm not going to spend too much longer on it. I think his backing band contribute quite a lot to the album, which I sort of thought, well, at that point, why don't you just release it as the band?
Yeah, that's fair.
Because you can be writing all the songs, but that's not much different from what a band is. So I guess philosophically, you're sort of asking, well, is it a solo album?
Yes.
Is it a But I guess at the same time, most people know him as just him as opposed to his band. So that makes sense. But yeah, it's nice, intriguing to see how his, music grows and his years evolve. Yeah, that's all I have to say.
Cool. Okay. No, that's another one that you've got to me before on the Fred list. Although the Fred list, chunks have been taken out of that this year. It's been a good first quarter. It's been good.
Is this one that frustrates you?
No, I wouldn't say so.
All right. Well, your first one, I thought sounded like Joni Mitchell. In vibe and in voice. So I have faith that Joni Mitchell was the right answer. I haven't listened to a lot of Joni Mitchell, so didn't really know what the song was. I guess it was called Morning in Morgantown, because it sounded like she said that, and I also thought it was a funny phrase. Folk, just, playing it safe. And 1973, just sort of roughing it out when I think Joni Mitchell's most popular years were.
Look, I said no half points, but it's so close I physically can't. Otherwise, I do just look like a tyrant. So it has to be 3.5. It has
Cheers.
to be. And I guess I am setting the precedent that the only way you're going to get the title point is if you get it exactly correct, because you're so close.
Okay.
But, Joni Mitchell, Morning Morgan Town.
I see.
1970 folk. Is whilst working through the Fred list, the other way I'm listening to music at the moment is going through the albums that are in my higher sort of rankings or whatever, and I get to certain artists and I go, well, I haven't really listened to any more than this one album or these two albums.
So you're sort of delving deeper into artists who
that I feel I should do.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
And I'm going down that list. And so I'm currently at about the 120s kind of thing. So we're at about Joni Mitchell. And there are another two or three that I think I probably should do. This is off the album Ladies of the Canyon.
Okay.
Most famous for featuring Big Yellow Taxi.
Yes, that's what I was thinking.
Debatably, at least her big radio song, her biggest radio one, I suppose. She's just good, man. I mean, again, it's possibly some of the most redundant music criticism I'll ever offer. Joni Mitchell is good.
Yeah.
But I suppose, look, again, I'll delve into another controversial Fred opinion here. Bob Dylan never clicked for me.
That's fair.
Never has. Don't know why.
I think he's a musician. Quite a lot of people would say the same.
Yeah, I think people idolise him, or they just kind of go,
It's all right.
Yeah. But even then, I don't even know if to say he's all right. I find I can't listen to some stuff because I don't really like his voice.
Okay.
But I do like Joni Mitchell's voice. I think it's very difficult to not like Joni Mitchell's voice.
Absolutely.
Especially in a song like this where it shines. And I like what you said. Sounds like Joni Mitchell, vibe like Joni Mitchell. I've realised listening to this album, because I've listened now to this and Blue, there are certain chord progressions and certain chord changes she does like to come back to. I haven't got the perfect pitch to immediately say, oh, that's what that shift is. But I recognise the sound and I go, oh, you've used that kind of thing before. And it just sounds so good. For something recorded in 1970, it sounds so clean, which I love. This is the opener of the album. It's a banger. What a way to start. I just sort of sat there on the bus to tuition going, dang, this is a great song, man.
Yeah.
I saw a comment which basically said there's never been any official commentary saying exactly which Morgantown she's talking about. I'm not from the US, so I have even less insight into this. So,
is she Canadian?
Or Canada? Both.
I
think she is Canadian. I think you're right. Accidental racism to white people? What? Unheard of. Keep that in or cut that out. That's your choice. But yeah, 3.5.
Cheers.
You are welcome.
Thank you very much. So going back on your...
well, yeah, because... Okay, I'm going to take it back to law here. You have a branch of law called equity, which, to put it very simply, is just about being fair.
Yeah.
It is more complicated than that. But one word they very often use in equity is the word unconscionability, which is where they will not allow something or make something happen, the courts, because it would just be so unfair for it to be the other way around. And so if this were to go to court, they would look at this and just go, fundamentally, just to not give Chris at least a half point for that title would be so unconscionable that we can't let it not happen, kind of thing. So I am studying. I know there are lawyers listening to it. They'll be going, well, that's just such a gross reduction. That's not how it works at all. I know. Thank you. Cool. Anyway.
Well, what you're saying is I got to thank your law degree for that half point.
Yeah, basically. People say that law makes you more greedy for money or whatever. It's actually making me more fair. So there you go. So when I was listening to your second one, Chris, I did say at the end of it, we are so back. We are so back. Music is back, boys. I believe we are out of Brett Summer. We left that last year. I think we might be in a Panda Bear Spring.
Panda Bear Spring.
The zoos are open, guys. Come see your favourite animal. It sounded like Panda Bear. In typical fashion, I put words I heard him say, take it off. Don't know if it'll be the title, though. 2025, I'm presuming this is one of his new singles. And Psych Pop.
Yeah, 3 points.
3 points, thank you.
Good stuff. You're very right on a lot of it. It is...
Well, that it is a Panda Bear Spring.
It's such a Panda Bear Spring.
It's a good song, It sounded good.
It is, yeah. This is off of his new... It's one of the singles.
Okay, cool.
Of his new album, Ends Meet.
There you go. Title track.
Pause.
Oh, is the album not called Ends Meet? I thought you were saying off the new album.
Oh, sorry. No.
Sorry.
It's my bad for messing up my words. The new album's called Sinister Grift.
Okay, cool.
Sinister Grift. And the track is called Ends Meet. Psych Pop, Sunshine Pop. Psych Pop is, I think, more of it, but I think some people would describe his sound as sort of Sunshine Pop. Looking back on the Beach Boys sort of pop. 2025 makes sense, his new album. I've been listening to all the singles leading up for it. I was really excited. I thought, Panda Bear he's here.
This sounds good. He's
really good. And his album is very good. I think I think immediately from listening to it, I could sort of, you can tell it's very consistent.
Okay, cool.
So it's more of a case of if you ascribe to that sound and you really like it, you're going to like all of it, basically. The acclaim for this album already is huge. People love it.
Okay.
The biggest acclaim I think one of his albums has ever got, maybe, well, arguably bigger than Person Pitch, depending on how you see it. I was not sentient enough to be there when Person Pitch was out to understand its hype. I still prefer Person Pitch naturally. I mean, it's. I think I've recently discussed the fact that it's one of those albums that I can't deny my love for it. It's one of those ones where if I'm looking at my phone and I'm going, which album should I look at? Person Pitch is always one that I will consider. It's always one that I want to listen to. But as I say, this is good. I think it's, what you get with Person Pitch is very sort of washed out, sort of spacey sort of stuff. This is, it's still got that Panda Bear sound. It
was polished.
When you're listening to a Panda Bear song, he's got his own sort of vibe. But it is very polished, very well mixed. I think it's all of the production and mixing and stuff is handled by him and Deacon from Animal Collective.
Oh, I'm looking at the credits awesome. Actually, and you have got Mr. Dib there. My favourite credit so far is Dave Portner, A.B. Tear. Yeah, and it just says noise.
Oh yeah,
which I think is great.
He has a noise solo. It might be this song that he's got the noise solo on actually. Which I find amusing. But yeah, no, very nice. I mean, again, I'm yet to really truly appreciate the album for what it is. I've only listened to it once. I need to get to listen to it a bit more. But this was one of my favourite tracks. It's just a vibe. I'm not sure if I don't think the backing vocals on this song are his daughter. Yeah. But I think his daughter has some backing vocal credits on the album, which if you're an avid Panda Bear fan, you would know is amazing because you're listening back to tracks like I'm Not off of Person Pitch and Daily Routine off of Merriweather Post Pavilion, and you're going, it's really come full circle. These are tracks where he's talking about becoming a parent and having to deal with, your kid going to school and the scary things around that. And now we're here in 2025 and his daughter is providing backing vocals for his music. Yes. That is awesome.
Bit mental.
That's insane.
The irrepressible passage of time.
Yeah, so I'm looking forward to enjoying this album more than I already do. And yeah, you can enjoy your 3 points.
I will enjoy them. Yeah. I will revel in those 3 points and the fact that it is officially a Panda Bear Spring.
It is. People love it. One thing I forgot to say was, I think JPEG Mafia had a meltdown on Twitter about this. Basically, I think because a lot of people liked it, and he was probably like, "Why?" And he posted some tweet that said Panda Bear in it, and I thought, you're in 2025 when JPEG Mafia is tweeting about Panda Bear. This is incredible.
We got quite a few people in the public eye at the moment who are trying to speedrun becoming incredibly unlikable. I don't know if that's the same. This is just a brief real life moment. I don't know if that's the same balloon, but there was a balloon earlier that I exclaimed how sad because I saw it flying away, and I'm sure there's a disappointed child somewhere. It looks like the same balloon. Maybe they just bought more than one and they've accidentally let go of that one as well, or it's decided to come all the way back across and is now going straight up. So it will soon reach the stratosphere, where Duster will be playing.
Maybe there is a party going on somewhere.
Possibly.
And balloons are
It's good weather
off.
today, so why not? If you like that kind of thing.
That's your thing. Okay, so your second one, well, it was an interesting one. It was unique sounding, I think is a fair thing to say.
That is very fair, yes.
Had airs of The Caretaker, so I thought, I'll guess The Caretaker. I don't have anything better to go off of. I guess it was called Ballrooms in My Mind.
That's a very caretaker-y thing, yeah.
And then genre-wise, I thought, I actually struggled to pinpoint this because you could go for what the sample sort of is, some sort of jazz sort of thing. Might be ragtime, I don't know. But I thought, I'll just play it the Caretaker way, and I sort of scattergunned hauntology, plunderphonics, and lo-fi. Very much in contrast to the folk of The Last Guess. So you're more than welcome to tell me I'm wrong there. And then 2010, random year. See, I did this intentionally so that he would have a hard time with not giving me half points. is what I will tell the historians when they mark this Whiteboard Game. Oh, I just hit the mic. Oops.
It's definitely one, but is it just one?
Oh, okay, I see what you mean.
No, I said no half points. I gave a half point last round. I'll give a half point this round. It's 1.5.
Oh, thank you.
We're doing. And you know what? I like that because now the half points rounded up.
It evens out.
So for maybe, unless you give me a very tricky predicament once again, no more half points. We are finished. So, do you remember the 21st? No. Well, we had, funnily enough, a gig at the Spice of Life not too long ago, and we were both somewhat poorly.
Yeah.
And I showed up and I said, I've actually got quite a bad headache at the moment. You were in a Slim Chickens dining, and I came in.
Ah, Slim Chicken.
And I may have showed you, or you spied it yourself, what I was listening to on the way, and I said I just needed something not too heavy, because my head would have imploded on the journey there. This is that. It's by a producer called Hantasi. I'm going to say Hantasi because I'm British and from the south. Welcome, because it's the opening track. 2012, ambient Mulsoft drone is the kind of stuff I've put. I don't really have anything to say about this other than that I really like the first track, and you might have actually summarised why, because it kind of reminds me of The Caretaker. I think is a good shout. I hadn't added up those numbers. It's that similar eeriness, which is good. It is that sample, there's just this constant drone behind it, which is like, you don't know why it's there. It's really off-putting. It loops a lot. It's like the same thing for 4 minutes, but if you like the loop, you're in for a good time.
Yeah.
All I'd say is, because I did re-listen to the whole album, and I was a bit disappointed, because I remembered it being hype.
Okay.
And I did the first track, and I was like, yeah, this is hype. I love this track. I remember this opening so well. And then it doesn't necessarily do much after that, which I found disappointing. I still like it. I may not be as eager to return to it as I once was now, which is a shame. I genuinely don't have much more to say than that. I've given the context of why it's there. 1.5.
Thank you. Would you say this has a vaporwave aesthetic to it, or is it just sort of in some ways tangibly linked?
I think it is vaporwavy in that you have the old samples, and it isn't necessarily this eerie as the first track. It does feel like it gets into, at points, this oversaturated vaporwave sound at times, which is probably why I was a bit disappointed. I think if it had stayed this eerie for the whole thing, I might have gone, oh, there's something there. But at varying tracks, it just kind of becomes indistinct vaporwave, which sounds like quite a harsh insult, but I think the genre of vaporwave has imploded so much in the last 10 years or whatever.
Yeah.
Some of it is quite difficult to distinguish from other stuff, and I would fear that certain tracks off of this fall into that. Is how I'll put it.
Yeah, that's mainly what I meant, because I think vaporwave, I think there's some vaporwave artists, well, I'll use that term loosely, who don't like being associated with vaporwave because they just think it's such a big sort of thing, and a lot of it people see as sort of cheap. Yeah, I was just sort of wondering if, like, say, like the art and that sort of stuff was meant to be vaporwavy, or if it was just sort of like, yeah, it's just sort of doing what it is, and it's been associated with it.
I suppose if you take the first track in isolation, and if you were to have a whole album off of that, I wouldn't necessarily use the word vaporwave. I'd say like spooky Mulsoft.
Okay.
But there are times when, as I say, it could continue with that, which would be cool, but it doesn't.
Okay.
So,
fair enough.
Your third one.
Yeah.
Again, I didn't necessarily recognise this, but I fear, out of caution of making myself look silly, because there are certain ones you give me that I don't think I will ever actually recognise, no matter how many times you give, because there's just some block in my brain until I listen to them myself, and then I actually know the songs.
Yeah.
So I said Pavement. Generator Life. He said that. If he didn't say that, I will fight you. It may not be the title, but I'm certain he said that. 1994, Slacker Rock, bit post-punky, maybe, because it was a bit like power poppy, you know.
I haven't seen that before,
face.
but I see what you mean.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, I'll give you 2 points.
I'll take the 2 points graciously.
Yeah, you were right to play it safe and guess Pavement.
Mm-hmm.
The track is actually called Stub Your Toe.
No, what the hell?
Slacker rock, indie rock.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah, 2022. That's because this is sort of like the sort of reissue Hiroshi Yoshimura sort of stuff.
Yoshimura
it was a
name
demo-y.
dropped.
It was a demo-y sort of thing, and it's come out on... Do you know, I think they reissued all of their albums with deluxe editions like after 20 years that they'd been out. It's sort of 23 years after it'd been out, so I don't really know why they picked 2022, but I don't know. And this is the deluxe of Terra Twilight, which, as I mentioned in the cursed very first episode of season 2,
that never made it. Yeah,
I mentioned I'd probably describe as my favourite Pavement album.
Well, you said it now. There you go. We have actual evidence that you've said it.
It's out there in the ether to be known and to be discussed.
And to be critiqued. Tell him he's wrong.
I think all Pavement albums sort of... I haven't listened extensively to the demos of all of them. It would just sort of be if YouTube says, you need more Pavement today. There you go. Then I'll listen to it. And there's some on various albums that I've listened to. I think Terra Twilight at the moment has the ones that I've probably listened to the most. Most of the time there'll be stuff that's come out on as like a B-side of like a single. So if you were in and around the year 1999, I would have probably given you a point.
Okay, that's fair.
But 1994 is too early.
That's fair. Okay.
Because it would have been a reissued single of Major Leagues, so it would have come out 2000 and afterwards, basically. So sorry about that.
That's fair.
But yeah, this is a Scott Camberg one. I try to catch you out of the Scott Camberg ones because they are a little bit different to how Stephen Malkmus writes, but never been able to. They just sound too Pavement-y to really catch you out, I feel. I
think you're doing me too great a service in that I've applied some kind of logic to it instead of, I don't recognise this, it sounds like alt-rock. Pavement, so I don't look stupid if it is. that was my thought process.
Maybe. I think I find that, it's interesting listening to Scott Camberg Pavement songs because I think the earlier ones in their discography, you can tell he's still sort of finding his feet with writing songs. The song Hit the Plane Down off of Crooked Rain is one which I sort of listen to and I go, I don't really like it.
You pulled a face, by the way.
It's a bit sort of... and then you get to Wowie Zowie and you think, okay, he's writing songs quite well now, It's not like jarring to go between a Malkmus song and a Camberg song. And then you get to Terra Twilight where basically his stuff is, it's quite well rounded. Albeit you have to check the deluxe because Malkmus on this album was very much, no one else is writing anything for this. It's just me writing the songs.
Fair enough.
Which, it's my favourite one. So,
Control freak, gosh.
Assess that as you will. But yeah, it's just some good old Pavement. It does use, as I have coined, the Pavement progression.
The Pavement progression,
which is Major 1, Major 2, Major 4. They love it and they return to it. And you know what? It doesn't get old.
There you go.
So
this and more insight you can take from editions of Chris's tunes, by the way, which is on our social media. That's the kind of in-depth musical analysis that Chris does deploy.
Yeah.
Now, let me say the same thing, but in character of the Chris's tunes versus music of the week narrative. Don't listen to Chris's tunes. I hate that guy. Anyway.
I would use the term... do you know what? I've completely forgotten what term you use, but you use a very flattering term to describe how I describe music. I would use that very loosely in massive quotation marks. But yes, I think I gave you 2 points.
You did.
So there you go.
I'd like to very briefly come back to something you said, which was when you're on YouTube and YouTube goes, "You need more pavement today." And as you said that, the only thing that came into my mind was that's coincidentally the same thing that springs into a cyclist's mind. They think, God, I don't seem to have annoyed the general public enough today. What should I do? You need more pavement today. Of course.
Very true. Okay.
Yeah.
So, your next one. This was an interesting one. I found this interesting to listen to.
Doesn't mean good or bad, it's just interesting.
I did like it. It was more just sort of, I'm just trying to sort of suss out where musically I'm sort of hearing things. Like I'm hearing very alt rock sort of things, but some interesting sort of sounds here and there. Sort of slight Midwest sort of vibes as well.
Possibly.
I felt. And I thought, well, maybe Who? And I guess brand new, because I know that they have some new stuff coming out. I thought maybe they've
brand new, am I right?
Put out a single and you've listened to it and you're going to use it. Because I know you like an album of theirs.
I do.
Radar Detector. That was something he said in the song.
He did.
So that is what I've said it's called. Alt rock, indie rock, 2022.
2 points.
Oh, cool. Thank you.
Are brand new now on the forbidden music list? I'm not sure if the lead singer's had a bit of...
He has had some controversy, yeah.
Well, look, as we seem to do on this podcast, we're not afraid of using the forbidden musicians, but we like to mention that they are on the forbidden musician list, if that matters to you. They might be. This is not brand new.
Okay.
This is someone called Darwin Deez. Nuts.
That's a fantastic name.
Darwin Deez.
April Fool's Day was 10 days ago.
It is Radar Detector. And I've given you the genre. I put indie pop and alt dance for the drum pattern or whatever. I don't know. 2010. This is not out of my own research. This did not just come across me. This was when I received messages of congratulations on the LP from the LP's resident artist, Paloma. And she was saying, even though she was, listened to all the songs already in order to make the art, she was going, oh yeah, no, I just want to say, congratulations, etc., etc. And she was saying, oh, have you ever heard of this guy, Darwin Deez? Because some of the stuff reminds me of him. And I also think your voice sounds a bit like his. I don't know if I necessarily agree, but, I appreciate it nonetheless.
Yeah.
I don't know if we've necessarily written a song that sounds like Radar Detector. Far too happy.
Far too fun, yeah.
We are not fun, we are not happy. Those are two things that are not yet idiotwin. But... yeah, I don't necessarily have much more to say to it than I looked up Darwin Deez, and this was the top song. And so I went, well, let me actually have a reference point because I've never heard of this person before. And I listened to it and I thought, this is actually quite good. I like this song. It's a good song. And it's been in the rotation. Thank you, Paloma. I'll leave it there. 2 points.
Cool, thank you. That guy must have been so annoyed when the Deez Nuts meme came out. He went, God, are you kidding me?
It's just my name. And now people won't take me seriously.
He's going to take me seriously ever again. Oh, man.
Well,
case in point, that, you.
But when you sort of look at his music videos and the way he presents himself, I don't know if he took himself very seriously to begin with.
That's fair.
He seems to just, like the music would suggest, just enjoy having a bit of fun.
Yeah, okay, that's fair.
Okay, here we go. Oh dear. Okay, so this is your fourth one, yes? Yeah. Didn't necessarily have a reference point for this, other than it sounded pretty electronic. I'm trying to think of stuff you like that sounds pretty electronic. So I went back to one of the Whiteboard Game, at least the podcast, OGs, in Black Moth Super Rainbow. I tried to think of something they would title a song. So I called it Slugging Around.
Yeah.
Just being a slug, you're slugging around. 1994, electronica, I'm hoping, is fair. Yes.
Yeah, I'll give you electronica. 2 points, yeah.
2 points.
There's
a trend forming here.
Yeah, it was Black Moth Super Rainbow. It's very, very, well, I say very Black Moth Super Rainbow. It's very this sort of album, Black Moth Super Rainbow. The track is called Melting on the Meadow.
See, look, slugging around, melting on the meadow. Yeah. You see why I thought it, yeah?
You just put together some sort of nature things and you get a Black Moth Super Rainbow.
I thought it sounded like slugs. I don't know.
Indie-tronica. I never really understand that term because I first heard it used here and I thought, okay, it makes sense because it's like electronica, but it's really indie and it's like a lo-fi
Did I
bit.
use it?
I think you probably did,
I can't remember what I used it for.
And I thought it made sense, but then I've seen some of LCD Sound System stuff described as that as well. So I thought, well, maybe I don't really understand indie-tronica then.
That's dance, surely.
Yeah, alt dance, I suppose.
I don't know.
Neo-Psych as well.
Yeah, that's true.
In 2024, this was a little bit like the Pavement one, like a deluxe version of.
Okay.
In this case, Starter People, which as I've discussed many times. If you look back on, I think probably even the very first episode of this Whiteboard Game series in season 1, you'll hear me talk about this album and how much I like it. And I didn't realise that a deluxe version of this album had come out last year. I must have just not been keeping up with Black Moth Super Rainbow on social media.
A super fan.
I must have just not been keeping up with them whatsoever. So I didn't see it come. And I noticed it recently, this year, I suppose. And I delved into, I didn't listen to it deeply. I just sort of skimmed through the new tracks. And to be fair, there were some that were just quite And I was a bit like, yeah, I'm glad they didn't make the album. But this one I quite liked. It was just pretty cool. Interesting stuff. Interestingly, there's some like live versions of some of the songs on the deluxe album.
That's cool.
Which I thought, that's cool and really weird. And it also sort of changes how I viewed them as well, because wasn't really sure in terms of their dates, sort of at what points they'd be considered a band and what points they wouldn't be. Because if I listen to an album like Eating Us,
sure,
I can sort of, this feels like band music, if that makes sense, B-A-N-D, not, Kanye West.
Yeah.
And so when I listen to something like Starter People, it does feel like it's just a guy with his synths, basically.
Which is nice.
But then you listen to the live stuff and you think, oh, actually, there's a good chance that they were a band at this point as well. Which is interesting looking back on. But yeah, it is nice. I like the synths. I always find that it just feels intrinsically linked with nature. I think that might just be a feeling I've ascribed to it.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
But I listen to it and I go, I don't know, it's not about it feels naturey. It's not about it feels, I don't know. Like I'm having a stroll in a meadow.
Yes.
Somewhere I've never been before.
You're melting in it.
Maybe I'm melting in the meadow. Yeah. Really nice album. And some of the deluxe songs I do take enjoyment out of. 2 points for you.
Thank you very much. You're on your relatively new / re-released music arc here. Maybe it's a trend I should have picked up more. But
yeah, well, you just don't find you listen to as many albums. You're just listening to the deluxe versions of stuff. In a way, just trying to seep out all you can from the musicians you like.
It's the Yoshimura effect. Tell me about it.
I've done the same with Ween. It is fair. Your next one was, I want to say, gothic rock, sort of in feel at least. And I made a rash guess, which I think they're considered gothic rock, but I've never listened to any of their music. I guess Bauhaus. You had a Bauhaus?
Yes, I have heard of
a Rogue Shout. And I thought they said I should be Bob Marley, and I thought it was funny, so I put it as the title. Gothic rock. 1983, this might be my most rogue guess, but we'll see if any points are valid here. Here we go. I've made it hard for him again.
I might have to donut you. I'm sorry.
Okay.
I'm very sorry.
Okay.
Well, the main reason I'm sorry is because this comes from a YouTube account that uploads albums. And I knew that I was being cruel when you look at the name of the YouTube account, and the YouTube account is "You've probably never heard of it."
That makes me feel a bit better for not getting any points on this.
Here we go. It's a band called The White Screen. You got to forgive me for this. If anyone's listening to this, you got to forgive me. I believe the track is called Arak Bakever.
Okay.
2016. I put indie rock, alt rock, grunge revival.
Yeah, that's more accurate. I don't know why I thought it was gothic. I don't know where that came from.
To be fair, gothic,
probably the
it's
vocals.
a strange genre.
The vocals were distant and reverby.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
Has elements.
I mean, I've had to. Those are genres I've come up completely off the cuff as well. I think they're fair.
Yeah, it makes sense. Yeah.
But I think this is so obscure when you go in to write your music or whatever. They haven't given a single descriptor for it. No genre, no nothing. They just tell you the year and the title kind of thing.
Interesting.
Now, let me try and say this without drawing upon too much controversy that will come for it. I believe this is an Israeli band.
Oh, cool.
Which is cool. That's all we should say. It's cool. There's no political agenda. It's just cool. So I think it's in Yiddish.
I see.
And the reason why I was very happy to discover this is because, one of the things I am well aware of is that I probably don't listen to much music outside of English-speaking countries, or as much as I should.
Okay.
Unless it's like a classical composer, but that's kind of cheating. And so to have something just dropped in the palm of my hand of just, this is not in English. This is very far from England and America. Listen to it. I just went, yeah, please, thank you. It's actually quite good. It's actually just quite a good alt rock, indie rock album. As I was listening to it, I was just thinking, yeah, man, this is a good find. This isn't weird or anything. This is just good. Yeah. So if you ever wanted a completely out there recommendation, The White Screen's debut album. There you go. I think it's their debut. I'm not going to listen to anything else they've made. I don't feel compelled to. But this album's good.
Fair enough.
Yes. I'm afraid it's 0. I'm sorry.
That's fine. I mean, I think I probably should have got, as in like, not like it is gothic rock, I should have got a point, but as in like I should have realised it wasn't gothic rock and gone for more indie alt rock sort of stuff. But
nothing I have put is as cruel as that. That is the cruelest it gets, I believe. Okay. I'm going to allow you to do the most talking about this for the obvious reason that it is your extract, not mine. Your fifth one.
I will talk about your extract for you.
No, but as in, I presume you've got a decent bit to say about Idiotwin lore here as well. I think I've got this correct.
Okay.
Unless I've got it completely wrong. I think this is Flight of the Conchords because it was
funny.
Yeah, funny if you find this kind of thing funny, which I did at points. I did at points.
That's a dig.
I believe it's Flight of the Conchords, which, if it is, there's stuff that you may well have to say about Idiotwin lore, I suppose. I said it was called Why. They said Why a few times, but I'm well aware that's probably not the title as well. 2011. I don't know the years. I think parody... Why have I written parody pop? That's not what I've written in my Word document. In my Word document, I've written parody rap. I think parody rap is probably not a real genre, but I didn't know what else to put. I'll leave that there. Yes.
It was Flight of the Conchords. You spelled Conchords wrong, but that's fine.
Oh no, okay, that's because
I think they spell Conchords differently. It's a little bit like how the Beatles spell Beatles differently.
Oh, I see what you mean. Okay, yes, I spelt Conchords the correct way.
The airplane way, yeah. Whereas they spell it with the word chord in, like the musical chord. This track is called Hiphopopotamous versus Rhymenoceros. It is a hip hop song. I also put comedy rap. I'll give you parody rap, not pop as you.
That is fair. That's fair.
And you are in the range, so you can have 3 points.
Thank you, blimey.
Good stuff. Now, maybe I should give you 2.5. Not spending Conchords properly. No, it's fine. You can get 3.
It's your choice.
No.
Okay.
Oh, pardon me. That ice cream's coming back. I mean, you said I have a lot to say. I don't really have too much. I guess I can talk about the EDO Twin lore aspect. We've been compared to them at least once.
At least once, more than once.
If someone else has compared. I think it's these people. At least one of them was a drummer of a band that we played with. He was not like. So he didn't want us to take it in the wrong way, basically.
Yeah, I think he was concerned that we would think we thought their music was a bit naff. But I think, or that we were not serious musicians or something. But I feel the point he was making was probably twofold in that they have vocal harmonies, we have vocal harmonies. They are funny. We tend to try and be funny at gigs.
Yeah, I thought I presumed it lent more on the latter, in that a lot of your sort of I guess patter between songs is quite comedic. Yeah, you try to lighten the mood between very depressing songs, which I think it works. The audience likes it.
Yeah.
And I think it was in that regard. Flat the Conchords comparatively are very funny within their music as well. And I've used one before, The Most Beautiful Girl in the Room.
Yes.
And it was sort of upon this comparison that I sort of went back to them, had a listen into a bit more. I'm embarrassed to say I'm yet to listen to this album. I really should have gotten to it already, but it's fairly well acclaimed as well, I think. But this is one of the big songs off of it. I think they've used a lot of their songs in their TV show, which makes sense. I mean, if you're a music band that are going to have a show, why not put your songs in it? It's perfect. And this comes at a scene. I've only seen the YouTube upload of it. I haven't watched the series, which I do want to get to, but it's not on the streaming services I have. I love the 21st century. And so it's sort of a scene where there are these, I don't know, they seem like they're having a bit of beef with these two guys.
Oh.
And the two Kiwi boys are saying, you want to watch out, you don't really know who you're dealing with here.
Oh.
And they basically lead into this song.
Okay.
And it's quite funny. Jermaine is playing the Hiphopopotamous. And Brett is playing the Rhymenoceros. I don't really know why it says verses, because they're not like rap battling each other.
Oh, they're friends. They're pals.
Yeah, they're mates. Yeah. I just hit the mic. Yeah, I need to stop doing that.
These two musical beasts.
Yeah, behemoths. And so, I think weirdly some of the songs off of their TV series are different to the ones on the album. I guess maybe they had written them before and they were just getting, I keep hitting this flipping mic, they were just trying to get stuff down. And so when it came to actually making the album, they took a bit more time. So there's a whole verse that's in the album that's not on in the TV series, which I'll be honest, I don't really like that verse. So,
oh well.
Which is a shame. But I mean, for the most part, they rap pretty well, to be fair, for non-rappers. You'd probably describe them as. And there are some really good moments. I think Brett's first verse is really good. There's a moment in it where Jermaine goes, "They call me the Hiphopopotamous, my lyrics are bottomless." And then there's just nothing for like a good 10 seconds, which is quite amusing. The more you listen to it, the more you go, yes, I get the joke.
Okay.
But, for a first-time listen, it's very enjoyable. And in the TV series, they extend that for quite a bit, and it's amusing.
Okay.
But my favourite part of the track is the bit that I sort of gave you, where Brett's going, "Other rappers diss me, they say my rhymes are sissy. Why? And then Jermaine goes, "Yeah, why exactly? Why? Be constructive with your feedback. Why?" I'm very amused whenever that happens. I think you probably agree, a lot of comedy is sort of how you say it and how you get it across.
Yeah.
And so I think these guys are very good at doing that in music. I think, I think this is something we've talked about. A lot of comedy in music can be a bit sort of gimmicky.
Yeah.
It can be quite cheap and, as you say, a bit sickening. But I do think these guys do it very well. I think they're some of the best at it. And I suppose in a lot of ways they wouldn't be as popular as they are and acclaimed as they are if that weren't the case. I'll leave it there for the most part. The last thing I will say is they both had contributions in the Minecraft movie. Interestingly.
Okay. Oh, wait, you've seen that now, haven't you?
I went to see it with some friends.
Okay, 30-second review, go.
Not a great film generally, relies very heavily on memes, but if you go in just to have a laugh, you'll enjoy it.
Okay. That was short than 30 seconds.
The review.
Good.
Brett has written a song for the film, and Jermaine actually plays a character in the film.
Oh, sweet. Okay.
When I saw in the movie theatre, I thought, oh, that's sick, it's him. But then I realised no one else knows who Flight of the Conchords are. So I can't express my excitement until I get home and tell my mum, basically. But yeah, either way, you get 3 points.
Thank you.
Good stuff.
Thank you. Am I going to see the Minecraft movie? Probably not.
You're not much of a Minecraft gamer.
To be honest, I never was. I kind of missed that train.
Oh, the train's always going, mate. There's always
I know.
time to get
Minecraft
on.
doesn't. It never seems to go away.
No, it's always there.
Good, which is a good thing. But I don't know. I like. I've got other games on. Maybe there's a Fred game list as well. There probably is, to be honest.
Well, Minecraft's sort of a game that you never really, you don't sort of play for the story. You just find that you're always sort of playing for a bit, playing some other stuff, and then coming back to, and then that way, I guess it never leaves, really.
Very versatile.
That is how I would describe it. Yeah, versatile. You're number 5.
Right, number 5.
Reminding myself of it. This sounded. I remember thinking, sort of chamber pop, baroque pop.
Ooh,
yeah, probably a good
that.
shout.
I like that.
But in terms of artists, I wasn't really sure who to put. I'm just realising now, I think it's very panned because I can't hear any of the voice in my right ear.
Okay.
I've only got one earbud in.
Yeah.
I think it was a female singing. And I think this band has a female lead singer. Wise Blood.
Okay.
Wise Blood. I'm not really sure how you pronounce it. Haven't listened to their stuff, but when I thought of baroque pop, I thought they're kingpins of baroque pop. So I saw the light. I think she said that. Cannot confirm, as I can't remember. Chamber pop, baroque pop, as I say, 2018.
Okay. I personally really like the shout baroque pop, so I'm going to give you a point for that.
Cheers.
I know that there'll probably be some, for instance, Fantano heads out there that will see me giving a point for baroque pop, and they'll go. But actually, now that I've said it, I'll say this now. The absolute joy I am finding in working through the Fred list, whilst not paying attention to like online music criticism of stuff. I don't know why, but just recently going through albums, I've just sort of had a phase of just, isn't all music just so cool, man? Like there's so rarely bad music. Everything has merit. Life is nice. Maybe it's in the wake of having released the album. I don't know. You release the album and then you just kind of go, oh, that pressure's gone. And I've got music in the real world. And like, all music is nice. My music's nice. What a lovely world. Maybe I am on my happy arc. It's I never thought I'd see it come. But you will know this band / artist because I've also just, when I had the credits for the Panda Bear thing open, they feature Cindy Lee.
Oh yeah. Oh, sick. Okay, go on.
This is off Diamond Jubilee, the bumper album of last year. It's called Kingdom Come 2024. I think the genre you want is hypnagogic pop for the album. Sense. I think that's the one. Psych pop as well is valid. But I really like baroque pop as a shout, so I give you the point for that. What do I have to say about this? Kingdom Come is a great song. It's a really good song. There's just something so enchanting about it, as I think there is with most of the album. I think it's an enchanting album. Very captivating. I like the album. But there's just so much album There is so much music. I think this is how I spoke to my dad about it. I said, yeah, no, it is really good. It does deserve the praise it's received. It deserves the acclaim. Enchanting is a word I'll come back to. Just really enchanting album. Pretty at times, you know. But there is just so much music. And I think it gets to a point where releasing that much is an achievement. And I think for some people, they'll go, that's amazing. And that's a compliment in of itself. But I think you can get distracted by that. I think you can go, they've made so much music, therefore good. What an achievement. It starts, for me, as I think most albums of this length would, some of it starts to blur.
Yeah, I see what you mean.
And I think for that reason, I can't have it as one of my absolute favourite albums, because I need to be able to look at it and go, I know what this track sounds like, I know what this track sounds like, I know what this track... I can't do that with this album.
I get that. I see what you mean.
There's too much.
I have a point to discuss there, but I'll discuss it after you've spoken.
I don't know how much more I have to say, to be honest. It is good, and I would recommend it. And as I say, I think it does deserve the praise it's received. I guess the only other thing I have to say is the interesting point about the lead singer, who I think is the lead singer from, I've mentioned them, Women.
Yes, yeah, I'd looked it up and I thought, wow, that's a weird connection.
But I think the reason why you said it sounds like a woman is they play a sort of drag character.
Yes, yeah, I've heard of this. Yeah,
which is really interesting. I respect anyone who does this whole sort of alternate character work, or can seem to play multiple characters across different bands or albums or whatever. You go back to Peter Gabriel and Genesis.
David Bowie.
David Bowie as well. Yeah, very good shout. I really respect artists that can do that and let an album take shape out of it. Yeah, I would recommend it. I'm sure it's on your, whatever your equivalent of list is. And I don't doubt that you will get to it at some point. And I'm sure you will enjoy it as well.
Thank you.
But it's just, it's a long album. It's a very long album.
I've seen it's very long, I suppose, I've never known their... I think they go by he, him.
Okay.
I've looked on Wikipedia, which, I mean, you know, my lecturers would be telling me now, you idiot. But I think Cindy Lee as a character goes by they, them. I mean, there's conflicting parts of this article, so I'm not going to take it as verbatim, but I think the impetus is on cross-dressing.
Yeah, Patrick Flegel.
Yeah. Yet to listen to this, but he does. Or I guess if we're talking about Cindy Lee as a band, they do have a contribution on the new Panda Bear album. It's on the last track, Defense. But I was really hoping for some vocals. I think it's just a guitar solo, which is a bit of a shame. I was really hoping for some vocals, but yeah, no, that's really cool. I mean, this was one that I'd seen and had a lot of praise for, but it just never really gotten around to it. I think it had been taken off of Spotify at one point as well for some reason.
That's strange.
So I was a bit like,
what the hell, man?
Why have they done that? But yeah, what I was going to mention about sort of knowing all your tracks, I think I mainly mentioned it because the reason why I like Lift Your Skinny Fists Like Antennas to Heaven as much as I do by Godspeed You Black Emperor is because every time I listen to it, it sounds different and I'm getting something different from it. But I know it generally throughout, like I can tell you sort of generally how it ebbs and flows throughout. But because it's so big, I'm hearing different stuff all throughout it.
I think what I'd say is that's a post-rock album.
Yeah, this is the thing.
And so the point of post-rock very often is long, sprawling tracks that you do discover, and that is part of the fun, it's part of the journey. For me, this is an album made as an album. It's not trying to do anything long and sprawling. It's got different songs. Yeah,
pop music.
Like in that kind of way that the average person would approach an album and expect to see different tracks and go, oh, this is my favourite track on this album. I know this track. It's not meant to be some sort of artistic experience or anything. Well, all albums are, I suppose. But you know what I mean. So from that perspective, it is like, again, I don't want to sound like I'm hating on it. I'm not. It's a really good album. It's really good. It is an achievement. But for me, I want to be able to go, I can like it's something like Ween could make a really long album. They could do, but because of the way Ween write, I would still be able to go. I know that one, and I know that one, and I know that one, and I know that one. Or something like Soundtracks of the Blind, because each track is so unique. I can go. I know that one, and I know that one, and I know that one, and I know that one. Sometimes this blends. Is all I'm saying.
Yeah, yeah. That makes sense. Yeah, genre-wise, they are doing different things.
Yeah.
How many points did I get for that one? Sorry, just one,
I believe. Okay, I'm afraid
that's fine.
Shall we call it half time?
Yes, I think so.
Okay, we'll call it half time. This was part 1. We will see you in part 2. Ta-ta.
Looking forward to seeing you.